Well, most of the time it's going to be allergies. The question is what it is too. So of course, most people think of that something else as being fleas. But the most commonly itching, chewing, scratching, digging is either going to be a flea allergy, a food allergy, or a seasonal allergies like pollens, molds, grasses, leaves, all the things that we think of in people. Most of us get sinus issues when we have allergies. Dogs, they tend to get skin eruptions. So, so some of the little different nuances, fleas, they're really smart. They know that if a dog chews and licks them and bites them and swallows them, it kills them. So they tend to congregate and bite really on the back and over the tail and tailhead, where the dog has the hardest, or cat has the hardest time of actually grooming themselves. So you'll oftentimes see a lot of hair loss, inflammation, irritation, itching, especially along the back. That's not necessarily 100% a flea allergy, but it's probably a flea allergy. Whereas seasonal allergies, again, more common and prevalent in the spring and then in the fall when everything blooms and everything dies. Usually you're going to start seeing number one symptom of just chewing, licking their feet. They'll just sit there and chew, and my dog would, I'll hear 3 in the morning and I'll hear, drives you crazy. So that's usually going to be seasonal. Second most common symptom with seasonal allergies is usually going to be ear inflammation, ear infections, just shaking, scratching, and then of course just shaking and progressing into scratching at the flanks, digging, that sort of thing. So that also can be food related. Food allergies generally tend to be in really young dogs, less than 2 years of age. Or oftentimes in really old dogs. And the older dogs is a little harder because they'll oftentimes have seasonal and food allergies. So we'll see these older dogs that have always had some allergy issues, and then it's like people bring them in complaining that, man, my dog has allergy issues, it just seems like all year long. And that dog is probably developing allergies to their food. One quick nuance, and I won't get into too much with food. A lot of people extrapolate food issues in dogs with people. We think gluten allergies, gluten sensitivities, dairy. It's not to say that doesn't happen to dogs. It's pretty uncommon. Usually they're allergic to some type of animal protein, almost always. So, commercial diets are going to have chicken, pork, beef, sometimes fish in the diet. So usually if we really think it's a food allergy, like if I have a 1-year-old dog, no fleas, doesn't seem to be a seasonal issue. A lot of times we'll put them on a food trial where we put them on a strict, what we call novel protein diet, where we're doing some type of protein they've never had before, like venison, duck. There's all kinds of crazy foods out there. So those are the most common causes of itching. But itching generally is going to be something allergic. There are some really rare conditions like autoimmune conditions, like people might have heard of something like lupus and some of these conditions that dogs can get. But those usually have pretty characteristic issues, symptoms that when people bring them in, they're itching, but they also have other lesions that we can usually identify. But it's usually allergies.